Good morning. Welcome to another live edition with Inspire with the Aspiration. Please, before you watch this video, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. And when you're done watching, don't forget to like the video, share the video, enjoy the clips. Hey, good day, everyone. Welcome to another live edition, Inspire with the Aspiration. No, there's something I want to talk about which has really been, it's something that is actually common these days, which I've seen, and I don't know why people are doing it, but I just want to talk about it today, and it's really not cool. It's really not cool. It's really not cool. Like I said, this channel is about seeing things that are wrong and trying to talk about it and fixing it, and who wants to hear, let the person hear, who don't want to hear, it's up to the person. You know, I've realized these days, I've seen people getting into marriage. The younger ones are getting into marriage while the older ones are still taking their time. You know, marriage of a thing is not, it's not something bad. Marriage is good and it's ordained by God, and there's a favor. There are blessings that are attached with it. But let's understand something that, the something that can actually make you, that same thing can actually break you. A thing that can make you can actually break you, especially when it's done at the wrong time. When, okay, like I said, I've been seeing, especially on social media, I've been seeing young people, young boys who wants to get married by all means. I don't just want to mention the part of the world or the country or the places or the place where these people are actually coming from. They just want to get married by all means. By all means, by all means. Especially when they see their friends or someone who is close to them getting married. Before you know, they want to get married as well. It has become a competition with this set of people. And if you watch them, they are below the age of 25 then. Yeah, it's not bad. It is not bad to get married at a young age. Yeah, it's cool. It is cool, but there are a lot of things that need to be put in place before then. You can't be planning for marriage when you don't even have a room of your own that you are staying. You can't be planning for marriage. You can't be planning for marriage when you don't have an apartment of your home, of your own, or you have a home of your own. You don't have a bed on your name. You don't have a pot. You don't have a stove. You don't have a chair. You don't have a TV of your own, and you are planning for marriage simply because you see other people doing it or other people getting into it. You want to get married. You're actually deceiving yourself. Marriage are not for babies. They are for the matured mind. Otherwise, you will run out of it. You don't get married because people are getting married. You don't get married because your friend that you are older than is getting married and you start planning a marriage. Why you don't even have your own home? I see people talking about this. I see people who wants to get married for different reasons. Reasons that are not even okay. Stupid reasons people want to get married. You want to get married because you are becoming a pastor. You will be ordained to be a pastor soon, so you need to get married. Because why? A pastor need to have a wife. Who said so? In which book? Is it the book that I and you believe in, that you have to you need a wife before you become a pastor? Who said so? What happens to someone being a minister at his bachelor's time? Don't forget that when you get married, there are a lot of things that you can't do anymore. Don't forget that you can't do a lot of things. You can't achieve a lot of things. You can't stretch your feet to a lot of places if you are married, because you will consider a lot of things. You put a lot of things in consideration. And after marriage, you're expecting children. Because as soon as you get married, you are allowed to have sex and all of that. And what's the outcome of sex? If you are not preventing kids, you planning marriage, You don't have a home. You don't have a bed on your name. You don't even have a place you stay in. You are still squatting and you are planning marriage. What is marriage? Okay, wedding is not a problem. You can succeed in doing the wedding. There's difference between wedding and marriage. Wedding is the ceremony you had. You can save money to marry, but you can't save money for marriage. You can, listen again, you can save money to wed. You can save money to get married, but you can't save money for marriage. You can save money for marriage if you have a good job, if you have a good income, whereby while you are married, you are having other expenses and you still have enough to save as a person, of which is actually rare these days, that you are married, you have kids, you are paying bills, and you are still able to save. Marriage is not a competition. Marriage is not a competition. There are a lot of people who are in marriage today who are wishing I wish they haven't, or I wish they didn't do it earlier than when they got married. I always explain something. Marriage is like a tin, let's say a tin covered, like a tin that is covered, like a cup that is covered. There is a lot of ant inside that, and there is, let me use the word honey. There's honey inside the tin, and there's a lot of insects. There's a lot of ants inside the insects. What happens? They are there licking the honey. They are there eating the honey. And when they are full, or they try to get out of that, they try to get out of that cup, but it's sealed. But outside the tin, outside the cup, there are other ants surrounding the cup, trying to get inside. Trying to get inside the cup, not knowing what the people, or not knowing what the other ants or the other insects are facing inside. They might be choking inside that thing. They might be full already. They might be tired already, but they can't go out. Why? Because it's closed. They are stuck inside there. But the other ant outside, they are wishing, I wish they were the one inside. Now you are outside wishing, seeing everything is rosy at the back of the cup, at the back of the tin, that is okay, everything is nice, but not knowing what they are going through. But the people outside wants to get inside by all means, by force. Even when they don't fit to get into it, they want to go in. You don't get married. You don't get married because your friends are getting married. You don't get married out of peer pressure. You don't get married out of competition, because you're going to be stuck there. I've seen so many people who said, oh no, I got married at the early stage. I got married too early. I got married too early. Some people, they said they got married when they were 19. The girl was 19 and the guy was 22. Now they've already spent 10 years. They're already tired. They feel like quitting, but they can't. Why? Because you never looked, you never watched, you never saw. Everything was so rosy then. My dear, relationship that you start at the early age and the relationship you start at a matured age, they are not the same. You can have stupid reasons for being together, but when you are matured, those things that you call reasons might not be what you want. They might not be what you want. As a matured person in mind, there are some things they put in consideration before they get into a relationship, or before considering somebody to get married to them. Some are actually in a relationship where they are being pressured by the woman. I want to get married. And because of that pressure, they end up getting married. Why? The guy is not ready for it. I was telling somebody few minutes ago. I said, have you ever been in a relationship whereby you're dating somebody and you thought that is heaven on earth, and eventually two of you break up? When you break up, you start seeing this person that you thought that relationship will never end while you were there. And when you see the person, you start seeing the person as a devil. Why? Because the present relationship has overwhelmed you, that you now saw that even the past relationship was like a waste of time to you. Just imagine if you are in a marriage like that. You are married to somebody that you feel like, I wish I can come out of it. I wish I can come out of it. You don't get married because the person is good in bed. You don't get married because the person has the right physics that you want. Though all of that is also okay for us to have our choice of the kind of person we want to meet. But sometimes those are just physical looks. Those are just normal things that can fade away in a space of time. There's a lot of things to consider before doing that. They said it's a life thing. They said to death do us or part, according to the marriage rhymes and all of that. Don't get married because your friend is getting married, because you think you will be single. Don't get married because you are going to hold a position that requires you to be somebody's husband or somebody's wife. No, there's a lot of things to consider. There's a lot of things to consider. The person you want to get married to, is the person your friend? Do you see the person that you can joke with? Do you see the person that you can just actually, just have some funny play with? Are you in that kind of relationship with that person? If you are not, you can't get married to that person. You can't get married to somebody who is always moody, who is always rigid. You can't get married to such person. Marriage is, for you to get married, that person should be considered your friend, your first friend. Someone who can take jokes, someone who can play, somebody who is willing to adjust, somebody who is willing to share similarities and share interests and all of that. Not just married because of what you are just seeing. There must be a lot of things that must be put in place. At least before getting married, you should have a place of your own as a man. You should have a place of your own as a man. The fact that you have graduated from school, the next thing shouldn't be that I want to get married. No. Once you've been able to graduate, I've seen people that they are just in school while they are dating. In fact, their fiancé is also in school. They're just waiting for the graduation date, and the next thing is start planning marriage without having a job or having their home. You want to marry and take your wife to your family's home? What a disgrace. You want to marry and take your wife to a place where you were squatting? It's a disgrace. You don't rush into it. The fact that you got to get pregnant is not a yardstick, like is not the reason why you should get married. Because there are so many religion and culture that are like that. And in fact, people, if you see these days, most marriage that comes in that hasty mode is because probably the girl is pregnant already. So they just want to clean that shame away from them. They quickly get married, unplanned. Before you know, just after the wedding, there's a stomach. You don't get married because of all of that reason. You got somebody pregnant. You can't be forced to marry anybody. You can't be forced to get married to that person. Because there are some relationship that is just meant for relationship. Not all relationship are meant to graduate from just being a lover and all of that to becoming a wife or a husband. No. Some of this relationship, you have to check yourself if you people actually fit. Because you can be doing all the lovey-dovey and all of that in a relationship. When you get married, you see that they are both different things. It can't work. It can't work. There are some people, get married to them, then you will see who the true color of that person. These are things that we should watch. At least our financial status should be to a certain range. You might not have it all. And when I said have a home, I'm not saying you should go and buy a home first before you get married. At least have a place where you can keep a woman, have a place where the kids can be. Just like in countries like UK, whereby for you to live there as couples, okay, 1 bedroom apartment is okay for a couple, but as soon as one kid comes, you are not allowed to share 1 bedroom. You should have 2 bedroom. And once you have more than 1 kids, they are above 10 years, they are not allowed, a boy and a girl, they are not allowed to share a room. That's what some country, their law is. You have 2 kids and you are couples, you are not allowed to live in 2 bedroom apartment. They expect you to have 3 bedroom apartment, one for the girl, one for the guy, and one for the parents. So just imagine you get married in such situation. What will happen? Without putting the financial aspect in place. Like I said, you are not expected to have all the millions, all the thousands, whatever, but there should be something that should keep you going. There should be a plan. There should be a plan. There must be a financial discussion. How this and this can go, how this can happen. You must watch your intimacy. Your intimacy needs to be matched. You must match your intimacy. These are so many things that most people didn't watch, most people didn't see, they didn't experience before marriage, and it's affecting their homes right now. Their intimacy was never matched because why? There was no room for that. I think that's going to be a discussion for another day, because there are some things that need to be questioned. There are some things that need to be questioned. What I want to say now, some people might not like it, but I will say it because why? It's affecting people. For we that are Christians, with sex before marriage, it's against Christendom. But now my question is that, what about you now get married to somebody you never had sex with, and when you, after the marriage or after the wedding, you now realize that this person is impotent, especially when honesty was never there. The man was not honest enough to say, I am impotent, I can't have sex, or I can't make a baby. What about a woman who has done several abortions and the person cannot have a child and never told the man, and they get married? That's when secret was revealed. What will now happen? What about people who were never matched? They get married and things started going AY. Are we going to start praying to God when these things were to be washed? So there are so many questions that need to be asked. Question that this is not supposed to be, or this is not supposed to happen before this happened. How can we avoid all of that? How can we avoid all of that? So your intimacy need must be matched. Your intimacy need, it must be matched. There must be this intimacy matching. This person is high sexually and the person is down sexually, and they become a problem when they are married. You must know if your partner wants kids just right after the marriage or not. All of those things need to be considered. If your partner actually wants a child. I could remember when I was still living somewhere, I think my agent and all of that, she told me that they've been married, I think, for 5 years or so, but they don't have kids. And I asked why, and she said it was their arrangement not to have kid on a certain on a particular period of time or years. They would, but not now. They are just going through their career and all of that. So all of that was planned and they worked towards it. It was an agreement made by both of them. I believe if one wanted kids and the other one never wanted, they wouldn't have matched each other. They wouldn't have continued with the marriage. But they did it and they worked according to their plan. As I'm talking to you, I think they have child. Last time I saw on Facebook or so, they have their own kids now. Because why? they actually checked what their partner, they check themselves what they feel about having kids at a certain time. So all of this must be checked. All of this must be checked before considering marriage. It's not something we should rush into. You know what pains me most is the early age. Is the early age, and for different reasons. It is not cool. It is not right. It is not cool. It is not right. It is not cool. It is not right. Let's not get into marriage hastily. Let's not get into marriage peer pressure, especially with our parents. We compare. Our parents compare. We compare. This one have been married. This one have gotten married. What are you waiting for? This and that, that and this. Not knowing that your child has a plan of her own. Forget about you wanting to have grandchildren or whatever. If you want to have grandchildren, go and make babies and let that person produce a child for you. Leave my plan with me. Let me get married when I want to. When is my right time? Because your time, you never planned it. You just did. You got into marriage. Your parents forced you into marriage and all of that. Now you are forcing me into getting married because you want grandkids. No, it doesn't happen that way. Because I want to achieve some things. I want to finish my school. I want to get a better job. I want to own my own apartment. I want to own my own home. I want to ride my own car. Get a better job before thinking of producing children. Not you forcing me to go and marry because you want grandchildren. Okay, I get married and have these grandchildren. Are you going to take care of those grandchildren? So parents, let's not push our children to go and get married. And all of this happened mostly from the West. We want our children to go and get married and all of that. We get all of this from West Africa mostly. Our parents are so eager to have grandkids. No, let's relax. Let's not force anyone to get married. Let's not compare them to other people's children. Let them plan their life. They have vision. They have dreams. They didn't come to this earth to produce children. I know one of the main reason why humans were created was to procreate. But they don't know one. It's never written anywhere in the Bible or any book that one should be forced to get married to do all of that. As far as I'm concerned, human can get kids from a certain age to 50 before they reach their menopause. Except by God intervention, you can have it after, even when you get to that age of menopause. So let's stop all of those things, please. Guys, let's not get married because our friends are getting married. Don't get married because someone is you want to achieve a particular position, or you want to be a leader of a certain place. You need to have a wife to do that. No. If you choose wrongly, there's no going back, there's no turning back. There's no going back, there's no turning back. There's a vow that is attached to all of this. Let's be wise. Come on. Let's be wise. Stop going through those social media and all your heart beats all the time, thinking that your life is backward, right? People are moving forward. The people that you finish high school with or you graduate together, they are all married or all of that. And before you know yourself, you are pushing yourself to the limit, and you get into wrong relationship. And you get married to one person that will stress your life and give you hell on earth. Please, let's mind all of this. Thanks for watching this video.